The words left Marcus Webb's mouth before his brain had time to stop them. The Queen must be stunning. He said it quietly, almost a whisper. But the Grand Embassy Hall of the Valanthi Empire had perfect acoustics. His voice carried. And the entire room went silent. Marcus stared at the enormous holographic portrait floating above the marble floor. The image showed the alien monarch in perfect detail. 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Skin like polished obsidian. Thin silver markings running down her neck and shoulders like frozen lightning. She did look stunning. Marcus realized his mistake the moment he heard a sharp inhale behind him. It wasn't human. The sound was layered, deeper, almost vibrating through the air. Marcus slowly turned. And his stomach dropped. The real Queen stood behind him. She was taller than he expected, nearly 2 meters tall. Her dark skin reflected the glowing embassy lights like glass. The silver patterns across her throat shimmered as she moved. 2 massive guards stood beside her, their strange weapons already half raised. Marcus knew instantly he had broken a rule. Probably a very serious one. You are the human diplomat. Her voice vibrated through the room with strange harmonics that made Marcus feel it in his chest. Marcus forced himself to remain calm. Lieutenant Commander Marcus Webb, Your Majesty. He performed the deep diplomatic bow he had practiced for weeks. It bought him a few seconds to think. Unfortunately, there was nothing good to think about. I was not informed you would be present today, Marcus added carefully. The Queen raised one long, elegant hand. Her guards lowered their weapons, but did not relax. In Valanthi culture, she said slowly, commenting on a monarch's physical appearance without invitation is significant. Marcus felt cold sweat run down his back. I apologize, Your Majesty. You meant what you said, she replied. It wasn't a question. The Queen stepped closer. Her 4 eyes studied Marcus carefully, as if examining every thought inside his head. Among my people, she continued, such a statement from a foreign dignitary has 3 possible meanings. Marcus said nothing. First, she said, it may be a declaration of courtship. Marcus blinked. Second, she said calmly, it may be a political maneuver to suggest alliance through marriage. Marcus nearly choked. And third, she finished, it may be an insult, suggesting I exist only for decoration. Marcus raised both hands slightly. None of those, he said quickly. The Queen tilted her head. Explain. Marcus took a slow breath. Humans sometimes think out loud. The Queen stared at him. That is a flaw, Marcus admitted. Silence filled the hall. Then the Queen spoke again. The truth, she said quietly. How refreshing. She turned and began walking away. Then she stopped. Without turning back, she said. You will dine with me tonight, Lieutenant Commander. Marcus stiffened. We will discuss what your observation means for the treaty negotiations. She paused. And whether you leave this planet as a diplomat or a prisoner. The doors closed behind her. Marcus stood alone in the massive hall. And realized one careless sentence might have just destroyed humanity's most important alliance. The royal dining chamber was designed to intimidate. The ceiling disappeared into darkness. The table stretched 20 meters long. But only 2 chairs had been placed. One at each end. Bioluminescent plants cast soft blue-green light across the room. Marcus entered slowly. The Queen was already seated. Her 4 eyes followed him the entire time. You dressed formally, she observed. Marcus nodded. It shows respect. In Valanthi culture, she replied, covering the throat shows submission. Marcus froze. Exposing the throat shows trust. Marcus blinked. That briefing had definitely not been included in the human diplomatic manual. The Queen gestured to her own neck. Her silver markings were fully visible. You chose to hide yours. Marcus hesitated. Then he reached up and unclasped the high collar of his uniform. He folded it down, exposing his throat. The Queen's smaller pair of eyes widened slightly. Interesting, she said. Sit. Marcus Saturday. Servants brought strange alien dishes. They began eating. For several minutes neither spoke. Finally the Queen broke the silence. Your translators say the word stunning means causing temporary inability to function. Marcus coughed slightly. That's technically correct. Humans use violent language for beauty, she observed. Marcus thought about it. Striking. Stunning. Breathtaking. He paused. Drop-dead gorgeous. The Queen leaned back slightly. You describe beauty as an attack. Marcus shrugged. Humans describe everything like combat. He met her gaze. Love is a battlefield. Business is war. Life is a struggle. The Queen studied him carefully. My people have 700 words for different colors of the sky. Marcus smiled faintly. We have 3 words for violence, she continued. And all are considered obscene. Marcus winced. I have been obscene since I arrived. But honest, she said. She slowly stood. Then walked the entire length of the table. Marcus stood as she approached. She stopped just an arm's length away. Your heartbeat has increased, she said. I can hear it. Nervous, Marcus admitted. Afraid. No. What is the difference? Marcus thought for a moment. Fear is about danger, he said. Nervousness is about uncertainty. Her eyes narrowed slightly. You are uncertain about me. Yes. She tilted her head. Most beings call me Majesty. Divine Light. Voice of the stars. Marcus rubbed the back of his neck. Those sound dramatic. What do you call me? She asked. Marcus thought carefully. A variable. The Queen blinked. No one has ever called me that. Divinity is static, Marcus said. Variables change. The Queen studied him silently. I prefer variable. For a moment the political tension vanished. Then she asked quietly, why would a human risk everything to call a monster beautiful? Marcus frowned. You're not a monster. To your species I should be, she replied. 4 eyes. Stone skin. Wrong proportions. Marcus looked directly into her eyes. My instincts are screaming something. Danger? She asked. Marcus shook his head. No. The silence between them became heavy. Finally the Queen stepped back. Tomorrow we discuss the treaty. She turned toward the door. Then paused. For what it is worth, Lieutenant Commander. She glanced over her shoulder. Your throat is aesthetically acceptable. And she left. Marcus stood there alone. Heart pounding. Realizing this diplomatic mission had become far more complicated than anyone on Earth expected. At dawn the palace alarms began screaming. Marcus woke instantly. But it wasn't an electronic alarm. The sound vibrated through the walls themselves. Marcus grabbed his sidearm and ran into the hallway. Guards rushed past him. What's happening? He shouted. No one answered. Marcus followed them. The Queen's chambers were 3 levels above. One of the massive security doors hung twisted off its hinges. Inside the room was chaos. Furniture destroyed. Plants shattered. Guards dead on the floor. And in the center of the chamber stood the Queen. 3 armored figures surrounded her. Their armor looked human. Marcus raised his weapon. Stand down. The assassins turned. One laughed. Well, look who showed up. Marcus froze. The voice was human. Who sent you? Marcus demanded. The coalition wants this alliance dead, the assassin said. Some of us are just helping. They moved fast. Faster than normal humans. Enhanced soldiers. Black Ops. Marcus fired. The first assassin spun as the shot hit his shoulder. Another rushed Marcus with a combat knife. Marcus blocked. The blade sliced across his arm. Pain exploded through him. Then thunder filled the room. The assassin suddenly froze. Then collapsed. Marcus turned. The Queen stood behind him. Her silver markings were glowing with blinding light. The last assassin tried to run. The Queen opened her mouth. A sound burst out. It was not loud. But Marcus felt it inside his bones. The assassin dropped instantly. Silence followed. The Queen rushed to Marcus. "You are bleeding," she said. Her hands touched his arm. A strange liquid from her fingers sealed the wound. Marcus stared at her. "You weaponized your voice." "All Valanthi can," she said quietly. "It is considered shameful." Marcus looked around the destroyed chamber. "You saved my life." "You saved mine first," she replied. Her 4 eyes locked onto his. "Why?" Marcus hesitated, then said the truth. "Because I couldn't let them hurt you." The Queen stared at him. Something changed in her expression. And for the first time, the alien monarch looked uncertain. The assassination attempt changed everything. Before the attack, Marcus Webb had only been a human diplomat trying to negotiate peace. After the attack, he became something far more complicated. The human who saved the Queen. And possibly the only human she trusted. The investigation lasted 3 weeks. 3 long weeks filled with tension, suspicion, and quiet political warfare. The Valanthi Council demanded answers. Many of them believed humans had arranged the attack. Others believed it was a human civil conflict spilling into alien territory. Meanwhile, Earth's government denied everything. Marcus spent most days in interrogation rooms. Not as a prisoner, but as a witness. The Queen insisted he remain on the planet. Officially, he was still the chief human negotiator. Unofficially, he had become a symbol. Across the palace halls, Valanthi nobles whispered about him. The human who stood against his own species to protect their queen. Marcus saw the Queen only during official meetings. She always sat high upon the royal platform. Cold, distant, untouchable. But sometimes across the room, their eyes met. And for a brief moment the distance vanished. 3 weeks later the treaty finally passed. Barely. The agreement created the first true alliance between humanity and the Valanthi Empire. Trade routes, scientific exchange, mutual defense, but also strict oversight. Neither side fully trusted the other yet. Still, peace had begun. Marcus prepared to leave the planet the next morning. His bags were already packed. His mission was complete. Or at least it should have been. Late that night a palace guard appeared at his door. "The Queen requests your presence." "Now?" "Yes." "Privately." Marcus followed the guard through parts of the palace he had never seen before. Finally they entered an open garden beneath the alien stars. Bioluminescent flowers glowed softly in the darkness. The Queen stood alone in the center. She was not wearing her royal robes. Just simple ceremonial clothing. "You are leaving tomorrow," she said without turning. "Yes. My mission is finished." The Queen turned slowly. "Is it?" Marcus hesitated. "Diplomatically, yes." She stepped closer. "You made a promise in my chambers." Marcus sighed softly. "I remember. You said you would tell me why you risked your life." The garden was quiet. Strange stars moved across the sky. Marcus spoke slowly. "When I saw the assassins, my first thought was not about the treaty. Not about politics. Not about humanity." He met her gaze. "My first thought was that I couldn't let them hurt you." The Queen's eyes studied him carefully. "Because I am an important ally." Marcus shook his head. "Because you are you." He stepped closer. "Because in 2 days you went from a political threat to a mystery. And then to someone I couldn't stop thinking about." The Queen's silver markings shimmered faintly. "That is not a diplomatic statement." "No," Marcus admitted. "It's not. Among my people," she said quietly, "such words could be interpreted as courtship." Marcus smiled nervously. "Among humans too." The Queen was silent for a long moment. Then she reached out and gently touched Marcus's throat. His heartbeat immediately sped up. "It is doing that thing again," she said softly. "Nervous?" "Yes." "Not afraid?" "No. I know the difference now." Her fingers moved down his neck slowly. "Among the Valanthi," she said, "when someone of high status wishes to show interest in courtship, they offer a personal gift." Marcus raised an eyebrow. What kind of gift? The Queen leaned close to his ear. Then she made a sound. Not words. A soft tone. A beautiful harmonic vibration. Marcus felt it echo through his body. Through his chest. Through his bones. It was nothing like the destructive sound she used against the assassins. This was music. Pure. Gentle. Alive. When the sound ended, Marcus realized he was trembling. That, the Queen said quietly, is my true voice. The one I was born with before I learned to control it. No outsider has ever heard it. Marcus stared at her. That was incredible. There is your violent human language again, she said with a small smile. Marcus laughed softly. Humans struggle with compliments. The Queen looked at him thoughtfully. You humans are strange. You Valanthi are stunning. She laughed. The sound was like thunder mixed with bells. I am reassigning you, she said suddenly. Marcus blinked. What? You will remain here. As humanity's permanent ambassador. Marcus frowned. That's not how diplomatic assignments work. I am the Queen, she replied calmly. I will make it work. She extended her hand. Marcus took it. Her skin was cool and smooth. Unless you object, she added. Marcus smiled. I don't object. Good. She pulled him gently toward the glowing garden. I want to show you the night flowers, she said. They bloom only once each month. Marcus looked around at the glowing plants. They're beautiful. That is a violent word, she teased. Marcus shrugged. I'm a violent human. The Queen smiled again. Then perhaps I am learning to appreciate violent humans. They walked deeper into the glowing garden together. Two impossible beings. From two completely different worlds. A queen and a human soldier. An equation that should never have worked. And yet, against all logic, against all politics, against all odds, it did. The future of two civilizations had begun with a single careless sentence. The Queen must be stunning. And perhaps, Marcus thought as they walked beneath alien stars, it was the most important mistake he had ever made.